Thanks for joining us. The CBS News Weekender starts now. Under the shadow of retaliation, Israel prepares for an expected attack from Iran, while the United States is responding.
We will support Israel. We're going to help defend Israel.
So, guys, it's actually April 12th, 2024, later in the afternoon. Once again, it's April 12th, 2024, later in the afternoon. I did publish two video recordings earlier today on YouTube. But yeah, this one specifically it's about the Supreme Tribunal of the Americas and the General Assembly of the Americas. Both are not simply just concepts at this point, policy concept, but they are going to be official and ratified as real within the next year and a half, 2 years, with the expected free trade and economic area of the Americas, the EAA, via the ratification of the Free Trade and Economic Agreement of the Americas under this particular title or another popular title, but it's essentially going to be of the same purpose, intent, terms, and effect as I have detailed. So the tribunal, the Supreme Tribunal of the Americas, is going to be located in Miami. We're going to construct a court, a tribunal court in Miami, and it's going to serve as the Supreme Court and Tribunal of the Americas, with the Organization of American States protecting it institutionally as being within its system. And it will be able to interpret national and federal laws, and even the local laws, not laws, but laws of and policies of the member states of the Organization of American States, the OAS. So what we are going to see is that the Supreme Tribunal of the Americas, over the next few years after it's incepted, the succeeding years or so, it's going to overhaul what we have seen in the Supreme Court of the United States and others and lower Supreme Courts, state Supreme Courts, and so forth, regarding abortion and so on. The conservative trend of the Supreme Court of the United States is becoming a bit overwhelming, naturally. It's actually quite shocking to the American people, even to conservatives. They're pretty sure that we are on the wrong path when it comes to jurisprudential standards at the federal level and in addressing some of the state decisions also. So yeah. So we most certainly, the Supreme Tribunal is going to be incepted. It's going to be established. It's going to be the building and stuff is going to be constructed over the next 2 years or so, and it's going to be in Miami, Florida, specifically, and the General Assembly of the Americas. The building itself, the structure, is going to have at least 35 seats. One representative of each member state. Once again, listen up. It's going to be the General Assembly of the Americas, and it's going to be located in Marigot, the Commonwealth of Dominica, right next to the Carib Reserve, the Calinago territory, in the Commonwealth of Dominica in the Eastern Caribbean. The Commonwealth of Dominica is going to be the first associate state of the United States, and the General Assembly of the Americas is going to be located in the Commonwealth of Dominica, and it's not just a rock; it's a real island nation. It's going to remain independent and sovereign within the United Nations General Assembly and the United Nations in general, and the Organization of American States. But it's in effect, it's going to be semi-independent and sovereign. It's going to be entered into the American system officially. Citizens of the Commonwealth of Dominica, they are going to become citizens of the Commonwealth of Dominica will be considered officially and declared by the United States government at the point of protocol signing, making Dominica the first associate state of the United States. Residential nationals of the United States, but particularly residential nationals of the United States. That's what it's gonna be. that's what it's going to be called, and essentially it's going to protect citizens of the Commonwealth of Dominica when here in the United States, and when in the Commonwealth of Dominica, in receiving standard benefits and public and social services for the most part, and when they're here residing in the United States of America, to become citizens, they would have to go to the naturalization process, maybe a bit expedited, within a standard recognizable by the United States government, or not even recognized by the United States government, endorsed and signed off by the United States government. So maybe even having to wait 5 years to become a citizen of the United States, it might just be 4 years instead, for residential nationals of the United States of America, meaning those from the Commonwealth of Dominica. So yes, once again, the Tribunal of the Americas is going to be the Supreme Court of the hemisphere, and it's going to be it's not going to breach the sovereignty or the constitution of any country, including the United States of America, but it's going to make sure that every constitution of the United States of America conforms or respects the constitutional tenets of the Organization of American States, and that which is represented within the charter of the Supreme Tribunal of the Americas. So the charter and documents of the Organization of American States, the charter and documents themselves, they are constitutional in effect. They do not constitute a constitution of the Union of the Americas yet. They do not constitute. Once again, the charter and documents of the Organization of American States, OAS, they do not constitute the Constitution of the Americas or the Constitution of the Union of the Americas. That's going to be written later on by me, and that's going to be introduced later on to the world in the 2040s, okay, and creating officially the Union of the Americas, as I said, in 2049. So the Constitution of the United States, based on the Free Trade and Economic Agreement of the Americas, will respect and acknowledge respecting the charter and documents of the Organization of American States a bit more proudly, a bit more expressly, a bit more vocalized, and there's nothing else I can say about that. Well, there's a lot I can actually say about this. I can expound forever. I can keep writing forever in micro details. I can do that. I can certainly do this. But there's a lot of different stuff I have to touch bases on, or I have to touch on, and that's going to be the topic of this. The topic of this particular video recording that's going to be published on YouTube right now over the next 10, 20, 30 minutes or so. What time is it? It's actually 7 p.m., 7:08 p.m. here in Orlando, Florida, in Central Florida. So, I'm going to publish it on YouTube over the next 20, 30 minutes or so. Sometimes it takes a while to upload onto YouTube, but Okay, so I'm going to make sure that everyone knows that this is me. Hello.
That's really causing great concern here. What we know is that all of the let's not broaden this, because if it does, things can spiral. As you know, this is going to have implications potentially for the U.S. forces. 2,500 in Iraq, 900 in Syria, military presence in Jordan. We have diplomats throughout the region. We have U.S. citizens throughout the region. And we also know that global financial markets react. You saw by the end of the day, oil prices up 1%. There is a spillover effect when there is global conflict. And right now,
so now you can see that you can actually see the time. You can actually see the time.